Welcome back. So universities across the country are facing a surge in applications for first-year spots, but limited capacity, leaving thousands of qualified students without a place to study. According to News 24, 19 universities received over 4.2 million applications, but can only accommodate 131,987 students. So what role does our government play in expanding access and addressing the growing demand for university placements? We are now joined by the Chairperson of the Higher Education Portfolio Committee, Tebogo Letsie, to discuss this critical issue and to explore the potential solutions. Tebogo, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. I was saying a bit earlier on to our viewers that not so long ago, earlier on this week, we're celebrating the class of 2024 and how historically they have now reached close to 50% of bachelor passes, which is a major increase. And of course, we applaud them for this. But now it is the scramble for spaces. Unfortunately, we don't have enough university placements where they can actually take up some of these students. What's your response as the Portfolio Committee with regards to this issue around critical shortages in universities?
Good morning to yourself, Aldrin, and good morning to your viewers. I think, as you have said, we must accept that this is a good thing coming from the basic education point of view, to be producing more than the spaces that are available. I think we must applaud basic education for that kind of an achievement, but also in the same breath accept that it's not a good thing from a higher education point of view for having less position that what are being fed. I think there are a number of options that must be explored by the Department of Higher Education and Training, and working together with the institutions. One of them, which may yield result in the short term, is that you look at districts that do not have university campuses. You look at the West Rand, for an example, in Gauteng. You look at a place like Rustenburg in the northwest. You look at Ekurhuleni. These universities must take up the opportunities to really put up physical campuses there. But the second issue is that we can also look at the possibility of having more online campuses, like what UNISA is doing currently, what other universities like University of Pretoria, Wits University are doing. Even though they are doing it at the postgraduate level, we must now explore the possibility of having more online classes, so that the brick and mortar, across the world, is not really the most appealing thing, because it's very expensive to build up, especially in the South African context, where we don't have money to build new campuses.
Yeah, as part of the ANC's 2014 election manifesto, and then later on 2019 as well, was that there was a promise to build 2 new universities. Those universities have still not materialized. As the Portfolio Committee, how are you holding the Higher Education Department accountable for this? Because the last we heard was in 2022, where the then Minister of Higher Education, Blade Nzimande, said that they have received the feasibility study report and plans are afoot. But we still don't see the brick and mortar going up.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Aldrin. I think it is true that the department has plans to build 2 new universities, one in Ekurhuleni, the Ekurhuleni University of Technology, and the other one in Hammanskraal, to deal with the policing or detective production. From where we're standing, the department would have reported that the sites have now been identified. They've now either been procured or in the process of being procured. Given the slow growth of our economy and government, the zero budgeting that we went through immediately after COVID. So that's been very difficult to get new money, so to speak, to get those things. But from where we're standing, the last report we received is that we now have sites for those, and brick and mortar should be starting very soon.
What does very soon mean? considering that you have so many pupils that are passing with a bachelor's entry, but seemingly can't find the space where they can continue their studies, specifically on universities. We'll have the conversation now about TVET colleges.
Yeah, in our view, very soon is that now immediately in February, when the Minister of Finance announces the budget in his budget speech, we're expecting to get an indication from government that there is money set aside for those construction sites to continue. But we ought to make a point that private sector in South Africa must come in, must play a role, must help government. They must invest, in the education of this country, because even themselves, they are the beneficiaries of the products that come from this institution. So we also need government to come, rather private sector to come to the fore, and also help government with funding to process all of this. Budgets.
Yeah. Then the other one is around the TVET colleges, and this is a conversation, Tebogo, I'm sure that you've had before as well. Year in, year out, we have the conversation about TVET colleges and how to make them more appealable, make them more sexy, make people feel like, actually, if I come from a TVET college, I'm still an educated person and I can contribute to the country's economic activity. But it is not seen that way, even by potential employers themselves.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I've actually just written an opinion piece on TVET colleges, which hopefully your colleagues will publish this weekend. That speaks about exactly what you're asking me. TVET colleges currently has got about 170,000 spaces for students. They've got 280 campuses across the length and breadth of this country. If you look at countries like America, countries like China, countries like Germany, what drives the economy there is the TVET sector. And the department, the minister would have gone to China to study the TVET model there. The deputy minister, Manamela, would have gone to Germany to study the TVET model there. And we're hoping that they are going to copy what is being done there, because it's working, and they are going to bring it to the fore. We've asked the departments to give us their reports from this oversight international benchmarking that they've done, but we know that TVET colleges actually can produce the best of the best. What we need to do, obviously, one is to improve the infrastructure there. They are not appealing, because when you go to these campuses, they themselves look like glorified classrooms or primary school classrooms. So we've informed them that they must spend the money that we've appropriated for them on infrastructure. Many times that we appropriate money on infrastructure for TVET colleges, but they just don't spend them. So we've asked the department to capacitate themselves to make sure that the money that is appropriated from government for themselves is being used correctly, is being spent correctly, and indeed they are able to change the feel and look of a TVET college lecture room.
Yeah. Yesterday, the Portfolio Committee also urging NSFAS to ensure that funding is made available, especially for eligible students. Is the Portfolio Committee satisfied with the processes that the NSFAS is now following? Also considering, once again, that even with the loan application, students will only find out next month whether or not they have been successful in the application. There was another concern that was raised as well around the interest rate, which is still not clear.
Yeah, those are really three questions. The first one is about the processes of NSFAS. As you'll remember that last year, NSFAS would have funded students who are not eligible to be funded, and only realized halfway through the year and defunded those students, created a lot of havoc in the system. So the administration team, when they came in, they picked up those things. We are confident that this point that the administration team, they're working together with the minister, that that will not happen this year. If it happens, indeed, heads must still roll there. The second issue was on the NSFAS accreditation for accommodation and how much are they going to pay. They are proposing interest rate related increases, but however, they're still engaging with the ministry, and we've given them until the 25th of this month to finalize or to announce how much are they going to pay for student accommodation. The last one was on the student loan. We were very disappointed last year because we had made available about 3.8 billion rands to fund these missing middle students who were left in limbo the whole year. And NSFAS came to us and said they did not have the systems to do that. However, the administration team has moved an inch, and they are confident that the latest will be before the end of February, where they are going to announce, where they are going to award those loans to those students who would have applied.
But for now, we still don't know what that interest rate is going to be. Yes.
No, it's CPI related.
Okay.
So we don't know what is the increase
All right.
so far.
Okay, let's quickly speak about the issues at the University of Limpopo. This was an issue that was raised last year as well, when the Vice-Chancellor as well as the Council Chairperson appeared before the Portfolio Committee. You had said that you'll write to the Minister that an assessor be appointed. What has the Minister done since your letter was sent to her?
Since we have written to the Minister, remember the Higher Education Act, Section 44 and Section 45, that speaks about the appointment of the assessor in our institutions of higher learning, indicates or instructs the Minister to, first and foremost, to engage with the Council of the University to find out what is their response, to give them a right to reply. And we believe that has been done. Or that is still an ongoing issue between the ministry and the council of that university. But we are very clear that with the behavior of the colleagues there at the University of Limpopo, who, by the way, are still refusing to answer our questions that we have written to them, and ourselves were beginning a process of subpoenaing those answers from them. We're engaging the Office of the Speaker as we speak to get the subpoena process started so that they are able to respond to us. But the Minister and the University Council, we believe they are engaging there. And we are very clear that there's governance collapse at that institution, where the Chairperson of Council has been appointed for third term in a row against the University Statute Section 2026, subsection 8, that speaks about that. And the University Vice-Chancellor appointed, we don't even know for how many terms now, against the University Statute as written in Section 11 and Section 12 of the University Statute.